So today we are going to be looking at a scenario where the top 10 strongest countries in the world go to war with the world. The top 10 strongest countries are number 1 USA, number 2 Russia, 3 China, 4 India, 5 South Korea, 6 J France, 7 Japan, 8 the UK, 9 Turkey, and 10 Italy. They will be going to war with the world, and this is going to be a fight to the death. If you also look at this map, I've counted this as Russian territory since they occupy it, and same with South Ossetia and Abkhazia. Um, so let's begin the fight. That is sinking the whole world. Let's begin the fighting. So here we will begin with the United States invasions, which will begin over here in East Canada. From Detroit, they will go up and for over here from Pennsylvania. That's not Pennsylvania, that's New York, I think. They will go here over to Toronto and capture it. Eventually, these two front lines will meet up and they will have a good portion of Canada's population. If you don't know, around like 90% of Canada's population lives over here. So this will probably be a very quick war for them. The USA takes this, which is already theirs in real life. I just didn't color it in for some reason. They will go here from the border and capture Ottawa. They will capture Montreal and Quebec City. Um, they will go up to Nova Scotia. That is not Nova Scotia. This is Nova Scotia. And they will capture all of it until basically they've captured all of it. They will capture the island and they will go until the river. They will also make an offensive over here near Vancouver. They capture Vancouver. They capture Vancouver Island. And that is basically almost all of the population wiped out, except for a little bit over here and over here. So let's look at those invasions. The United States of America will send some divisions out to capture this city and to capture that city. These were pretty easy since the Canadian military is probably all wiped out over here, and they will connect these two front lines. And this is when Canada surrenders. The USA's plans next are to go into Mexico over here, capture all of this, send a division into Baja California, capture all of that. They will also like to send some troops from Texas and capture all of this. And their next targets are going to be Cuba, the Bahamas, Hispaniola, and Jamaica. And then they will have a naval front over here to kind of like invade countries like maybe Venezuela in the future, the Yucatan Peninsula, Central America. That's their plan. So now we will see their plan in action, which they will cross the border from Texas over here, take these two major cities, and they will cross the border over here. And well, USA is probably having drafts and like a lot of just they probably have a big military now for this war. This is like a total war. Everyone is involved, the citizens, the military, politicians, everyone. So this is going to be an interesting war for now. So the USA pushes down into Baja California, capture all of it, and Mexico will suffer heavy losses over in the west. And their second plan now with taking over the Bahamas, they will take over Turk and I don't know. They will land in Havana, they will capture all of Cuba, and they will push down into Jamaica, capture this random island, and they will invade Hispaniola from two sides. Haiti falls very quick, so does the Dominican Republic, and we'll now look at other fronts. Over in Europe, it's not so good for the Over in Europe, it's not so good going for the blue team. The UK makes an invasion into Ireland and will eventually capture Dublin. They will go over to capture Galway and Cork, and Ireland surrenders. Over to France. France will make an excursion into West Belgium and into the Netherlands. They will not try to go through the Ardennes since that's just going to be hard to invade. They will capture the major city of Rotterdam and get very close to The Hague. They will try to capture Geneva, but the mountains fail, and they will try to well, they capture Andorra, and they will try to go down south into Barcelona. Over in Italy, much of the same happens. They capture Malta. They will send their troops into Slovenia since they can't really go into Switzerland or Austria. Since of the Alp Mountains, you can't really go through that. And they will focus on the Balkans. They will capture Slovenia's capital. They will also capture Croatia's capital, and they will move down south with some naval landings that helps them. Now over to Turkey. Turkey will capture a lot of Greek idols. Turkey will probably be on the defensive though, since they're surrounded on all sides except for over in Georgia, which will get steamrolled pretty quickly. They will put an offensive into Greece, and they will put an offensive into East Bulgaria. They will try to go after Syria. They capture Aleppo. What? That's not the name. And they will capture, well, try to capture over here near where Kurdistan should be, but it doesn't exist, right? Iran will try to move in this territory, but it's very mountainous, so it wouldn't work. And like I said, Russia is again pushing down south, reinstating that they own South Ossetia and Abkhazia. They will capture all of Georgia and capitulate them. They will go down into Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan would have a lot of help from Iran, so they would still survive. Armenia is going to be dead pretty soon though, since just you're next to Turkey, next to Russia, not a good spot for you. And here we will see the invasion of Europe by Russia. Russia will try to take Kharkiv back, which succeeds. They will push here heavily in the north and go towards Kiev. Over here they will also invade their own ally, which will be Belarus, go towards Minsk. The offensive fails. They will capture this other major city and again get very close to Kiev, but they don't succeed. They will push over into Estonia, which will be um, a bloody fight since there's a lot of Finnish and Swedish troops here already. But they are able to get the capture of Latvia, the capital of Latvia. One downside for Russia is that Kaliningrad gets invaded. They do hold out, but who knows for how long. And we will now again look at other fronts. North Korea will be invaded by its best friend, and then will be finished off by their greatest enemy. With that North Korea out of the way, they will now send troops to Mongolia, send troops to um, well, Southeast Asia, and Japan and China helped each other to. Why is that there? Now China will push their troops south into Southeast Asia. They will invade Vietnam for I don't know how long, how many times, and they will get very close to the capital, but due to the guerrilla warfare, they don't get there. India takes out Bangladesh. Yes, they have a lot of people. It would take a very long time, but they would eventually fall. And I don't want this looking ugly, so they're just surrendering. India and China will do a joint military operation into Myanmar, and it will succeed a lot better than China's offensive did to capture this major city and push down into Southeast Asia and to Thailand. India is going to be throwing hands with Pakistan again. They'll make a military operation in the south, come close to Karachi, but will fail to capture the city. Over in the north, though, they will lose some grounds in Kashmir. It's very militarized, and this will be a bloodbath, but Pakistan has a little bit of numbers over here, since Middle East is here. Central Asia is probably defending their own borders, but they won't be surviving for very long. And of course, Africa is also there. So It will be very hard to invade the Middle East and Africa. Russia will spare some troops up to invade the rest of Kazakhstan. They'll kind of push over here in the European parts and in the northern parts. And for the rest, they will just send a division down to the capital and capture that. They will, China and Russia will use some troops to fully kill Mongolia. Mongolia surrenders after 2 days of being invaded. And China also sends some troops into the Kazakhstan. As you can see here, the blue team is not really doing so good. And the only place where they're really doing anything is in like Eastern and Western Europe. Everywhere else they're kind of failing though. Um, let's go back to the USA invasion. And why are you blue? Okay, that's fixed. And the USA will continue their invasion into Mexico. Like I said, they will make a landing over here. And they will go through the jungles. And, well, they kind of follow the coast, but it's heavy casualties. The USA will also make a landing over here near Mexico City. And they will just, like, they lose a lot of troops. But they do eventually do it. They capture Mexico City, the very populated city, and Mexico starts to fall apart. The drug cartel, everyone, they just start to kind of like, yeah, it's not really good. The cartel is still doing their stuff. The USA is just invading. Kind of start to fall apart, and they eventually surrender. Central America is not as strong. They're also not really that supplied by South America. Did I say South America? I mean Central America is not as strong, and it's kind of hard for South America to supply them since the U.S. Navy is over here and the Darien Gap exists. So this is just a matter of the USA blitzing through Central America until Darien Gap. So that's North America done, except for Greenland, which they will finally take and without repercussions. They now have all the oil that they would want until they have to invade that. But for now, Greenland will be fueling this red team war economy. And instead of invading South America, they will be sending their troops across to Europe. That is not good for the blue team since you were kind of doing good in Europe. Even Spain tried to push back. But when the USA arrives, that's not going to be happening anymore. For now, though, the blue team still has the advantage over here with Africa coming in Spain and helping them push back against France. Germany would also push back a little bit in Alsace-Lorraine. They do capture Den Haag and come very close to Amsterdam because the UK troops are also here. They capture Liege and they do eventually go into the Ardennes. Italy captures the coast of Croatia and they go into Bosnia. They capture the capital and eventually get stopped by the United Balkan Army. Turkey pushes more into Greece and more into Bulgaria. Follow the coast. They will try to get to Odessa, but they are kind of getting pushed back a lot by, well, again, the United Front of Africa, which is very strong. They're getting pushed back heavily. And of course, Israel, Saudi Arabia, all strong countries are there. So you're gonna have to kind of focus on your defense, Turkey. Again to Russia, Kaliningrad fails. It's a fortress, but they do fail after a couple months. Russia pushes down to the capital of Lithuania, and they capture it. Then they will make a strive to invade Minsk. They will capture it and make a large encirclement over here in the north of Belarus. They make the soldiers surrender or die. Russia will finally cross the river and go to this. I don't know what it is. They will capture Odessa, go to Transnistria, capture that, and then capture the capital of Moldova. Russia will make a major offensive over here, encircle this pocket and kill it or capture. They will capture Kiev and Ukraine is just having heavy losses. When the Poles, the Swedes, and like Romanians start fighting back though, that's when it's gonna be hard. Over here, Pakistanis do an excellent job at defending their land, and they push back India heavily. India is more focused about Myanmar and Southeast Asia, so they will focus on that, take that out, and they will, well, Southeast Asia will kind of collapse. They get very close to Bangkok, almost capture it, and it's not looking too good for them. If we look at what Japan and South Korea are doing, they are making a landing in the Philippines, capturing capturing the main isles, and will basically make them surrender, except for like the southern isles. Um, oh yeah, wait, these guys should be gone. So that's not too good for the blue team since Philippines was a pretty medium country in military strength. They were like supported by Indonesia, and now it's just Southeast Asia plus Oceania plus against China, Japan, South Korea, and half of India. Well, not half of India, but like a quarter. Um, Pakistan is again pushing back India a lot. It's kind of surprising they're how much attacking they're doing. We will now go back to the USA, which again they have now sent their troops over here, and they show up in Lisbon. Yeah, Europe is cooked. Lisbon falls, and so does the rest of Portugal. Portugal does not really have a strong military, and Spain does, but against like the American might, they won't do much. That will lead to some Spanish and African people leaving the front line. France will reinvade over here, capture Barcelona, but with those extra troops now, they are able to recapture the city and um, liberate a lot of Galicia. With these new distraction, France will take over Amsterdam, Utrecht, and they will push into Germany for the first time. Well, not the first time, but first time in this war, and they will capture all of Groningen. That is also good since that's a lot of where a lot of gas is, and they basically have naval superiority over the North Sea now. They will capture these four cities, and they will kind of go around the Ardennes to try to cut off these military. These will get pushed back heavily. Um, this city falls with, I think, Freiburg, and they will slowly go towards Frankfurt. If Frankfurt falls, that's basically the end of the, well, like, Western Front, because Germany would have to pull some of their troops back from this front, and then Russia can push through. Um, that is exactly what happens. And then Frankfurt surrenders, well, the city surrenders, and Luxembourg falls the next day. Now what I said is exactly going to happen, which Germany is going to recall a large portion of their troops. Germany is not a weak country, they're top 20 military, and Ukraine will also fall heavily under Russian military occupation. Russia starts rolling through Eastern Europe, they will capture all of Latvia, push into Lithuania, and get very close to their ex-slave of Kaliningrad. Um, Finland, though, they are a real game changer. They capture all of this, and they are a thorn in Russia's side. They will encircle this, and well, there's like nobody here, so that will just go there. And yeah, again, it's not looking too good. USA is in Portugal, which pretty much is not good for Spain, which will eventually, but very slowly and surely, will kind of fall in the north since a two-front war, and Andalusia is basically the only thing that's still there. They will eventually capture all of it, and the African troops will go home. Turkey will now focus on Greece, so that basically Africa cannot go to Europe anymore. And with a lot of Italian and Turkish help, they will eventually capture all of Greece. It would take a very, very long time, but they are able to do it. They capture all of Kosovo, North Macedonia, and push more into Bulgaria. In the meanwhile, though, the African and Middle Eastern uh, troops will have heavy success in Turkey. They will capture a lot of major cities. They will even uh, try to recapture Cyprus, but their navy isn't that good. Well, Israel's navy is better than all of Turkey's navy alone, so they will recapture Cyprus, go over to this lake, and it's not so good for Turkey since they're struggling heavily. It's like half of Africa and the Middle East against them. That is not too good. So we might see our first red country falling, um, if they do fall. So they will try to go up to the northern coast of the Black Sea to cut Russia and Turkey from each other. It works, and Turkey is really suffering right now. They lost a lot of troops over here in Greece trying to take them, and they are kind of suffering over here in the east. We'll now go to India, which Pakistan and of course some parts of Africa will push. But with India kind of abandoning this front and letting these three countries do that, they will push back in the south and they will eventually capture Karachi. They will capture this city and they will push into the Indus River, which is not good for Pakistan. Um, India will also focus over here in north in Kashmir, because like that's what they want. Kashmir is like their prized possession. They will go over to Islamabad. They will heavily like fight a war there. Problem is they fail to capture the city or even siege it, and this is a major victory for Pakistan. India loses a lot of troops there, and they are not having that much success. They are taking land, but they are have losing a lot. They are having a lot of casualties. They will push back over here, which goes a lot easier, and eventually this becomes a stalemate. Over here in the Southeast Asia region, China eventually is able to capture Bangkok. They're able to capture Hanoi and the capital of Laos. Eventually, Laos surrenders. Um, that doesn't really mean anything since Laos didn't have really much of a military, so Vietnam will just occupy that. But speaking about Vietnam, they will kind of get pushed around. Like you won against USA, you won against China, but it's like China, South Korea, and Japan, and there's like modern strategies, so you won't win this time. Maybe next time. Cambodia will surrender, and Vietnam is basically the only country fighting. The rest of Myanmar will be occupied, and Thailand will also be occupied. They push down into Malacca Straits in the Malay Peninsula and capture Singapore. Capture the rest of Vietnam, and Southeast Asia is done, which is not really good for Middle East, because that means these guys will just, which means they can just hold their navy over here and put all the troops westward, and they will exactly do that. They will push into Kazakhstan and basically capture all of it. Kyrgyzstan is a little bit difficult though, because they are very mountainous, and it would take a very long time. They also take Tajikistan. They will go through the mountains of Afghanistan and kind of push towards Kabul, which will they will fail. Then the plan is to kind of encircle this area, which will be very difficult for the red team. India will try though with this spearhead over here, and China eventually, after a couple months, capturing Kabul, they'll enter Pakistan, and this is not good for Pakistan. Russia and China will just send some major like divisions over here to occupy this, which will basically like it's basically done for them. They don't have really much population. Only country really holding out is Turkmenistan because of the help of Iran. And well, Afghanistan is impossible to conquer, we know that. But Afghanistan, this is not your video, so you will eventually, uh, in the north at least, will be killed. And Pakistan capital is encircled. India will follow the Indus River and Pakistan would not surrender, but for this scenario they will. Um, to kind of satisfy some Pakistani viewers if they are here, they surrender to China, not to India, because I know China is kind of your friend. They will push in over to Iran and more of Afghanistan, and they have a lot of success. They will basically send around 6 million troops over here, because these guys have infinite population glitch. Um, yeah, this is just like Africa. They were able to capitulate Turkey, but like it's not enough because they still have Istanbul. Russia's still down here. Europe is about to fall. It's just not enough. And talking about Europe, oh, with the American troops now again in Germany for like the fifth time now, um, they will blitz Berlin, blitz Prague, blitz München. Um, yeah, Switzerland is kind of encircled on all sides, but they will hold out. Same with Austria, they will hold out in the mountains. And Russia sends 10 trillion troops, this old Soviet strategy, into Poland and maybe spread some communism. They will capture Bucharest. Well, Turkey, well, what's left of Turkey will capture Bucharest. This is mainly Italian and American forces. Russia and America will meet up, and they will blitz over to meet up in Poland. This is not good for the blue team since Denmark just got folded in 2 hours, and Slovakia, Hungary, and Serbia are all dying. The mountains don't exist, Estonia doesn't exist, and Finland, you need a nerf. Actually, they're not getting nerfed. Russia's still struggling. What is happening though is the US and the UK are kinda making some landings over here. They capture Gothenburg, capture Malmo, they capture Stockholm, and these countries will eventually surrender after months of fighting. And then eventually Finland will get their nerf, and they will be invaded by basically all of Europe. Um, as we see, the Africans did have a good counteroffensive over here, though. They were able to capture a lot over here and even push back into Iran. But with America, Europe, all of Russia coming, it just like, yeah, your troops are done. Like the Americans over here in Turkey is pretty much enough to kind of push you around over here. And yeah, that will happen. Then Russia will come down and they say, yo, get out of my territory. And they will capture all of Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan, go into Iran, and liberate all of this of Turkey. And then again, the wave of troops just comes. Like we're talking about maybe a combined total of 50 million troops, and the navy would be insane. Like you have China, USA, Russia, UK, France, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Indian Navy, like it's crazy. They will just decimate your navy. They will put 10 million troops in your country and move on. Turkey's gonna um, personally personally kill Israel. They have some beef because they're Muslim, and Iran is barely alive. They're still firing at Israel. Iraq falls, and the USA takes all their oil, and they will eventually meet the Suez Canal. They'll take Riyadh. They will capture Mecca and Medina. They'll move down into the Arabian Peninsula, kill the Houthis finally, and Dubai will become everyone's private vacation home. So that is basically Eurasia done, except for Indonesia. So that is three continents gone, and then the free weaker continents are still there, except for Africa. They're pretty strong. And the first, well, invasion will probably be Oceania with China, India, and Japan, South Korea would all just be focusing their troops over here. They'll be taking that. They will cross the straits, capture all of Sumatra. Java will hold out for now. They will capture this island. They will capture, well, actually, no, East Timor's too strong. Um, they will capture all of this. They will capture Bali. They will capture this little island next to them. They will eventually, after years, capture East Timor. They will capture the Spice Islands of Indonesia. They will also, again, what I'm saying, capture Papua New Guinea. And then you have Australia. How are you gonna invade that? You're gonna go here, you're dying. So they're gonna call some friends who beat the Australians in the past. The emus are back, and also the kangaroos with koalas and machine guns. Yeah, Australia, you're done. And New Zealand, hmm, actually, yeah, nobody knows that New Zealand exists. They're not real. They're just not real, bro. Who said they were real? The person that said they were real, they're lying to you. Oh yeah, and they will capture Christmas Island. So now with the weakest continent out of the way, because Antarctica is of course the strongest, um, they will now be focusing on South America. India and China are gonna do a little side quest though. They're gonna capture some of these islands, and they will eventually make a landing in Madagascar. The navy of the African nations would probably be dead by now, and the economy of the world would also be dead. USA, France, Italy, and the UK will all be focusing on South America. They will be capturing first Venezuela for the oil, so the blue team can't really stockpile on that anymore. They will just bomb the forest. They will bomb the Darien Gap, capture Colombia, and they will die. Same with Venezuela, they will also surrender. You are not supposed to be blue, you are red. But they, I guess, liberate French Guiana, and they will kind of push into that. You don't push into jungles because you don't want to. That's death. You will kind of go behind the Andes Mountains, and these countries will surrender. You will capture the Galapagos, and some countries just start to surrender because of fear. Bolivia surrenders, Paraguay, Uruguay, even Chile, and for some reason Namibia, these guys, like, these guys haven't even been invaded yet, they just surrender. Um, I'll be back to you when everyone surrendered. So these are the countries in Africa that surrender. Um, they will still be, like, even though they will be occupied by the blue team, they are still going to be this color for, I don't know why. But with these surrenders, it's kind of like easy for them to put their troops in these territories and kind of do this, cut them off from each other. They will follow the coast, Brazil, capture Brasilia, and eventually Brazil is also done. They're done with this war. They surrender. And then Lionel Messi. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Argentina also surrenders. And the Falklands are apparently Argentinian, but the British will take them back. And the British will also take this back. So now we will look at Antarctica. Alright. And Africa. Africa. Where do we start with you? Well, apparently we start over here since that got invaded. South Africa will be Danzos when China and India invade this part. Russia, Turkey, Italy, and France will be invading Egypt over here. They take the strongest African country out, and the UK and Americans will be focusing on Morocco and Algeria. They will take those out, and when like the three strongest countries got decimated, basically only Nigeria's left. Nigeria gets bombed by everyone and invaded. They surrender. So with these surrendering, that's it for the world. They all surrender. So I will not do a peace treaty for obvious reasons, because it will just be fully annexed by these countries. Um, I had fun making this video. Um, Also, some of you have been asking how to like make this kind of map and like the app name. Um, if we get 20 likes on this video, no, not 20, 10 likes on the video, I will make a tutorial on how to do this kind of stuff. Also, join the Discord server. I can also give you guys this exact map. Join the Discord server for video pings and other stuff. And please subscribe and like. That would be very much appreciated. Dutch Member out. See ya.